Hey there, my dear pirates. In today's video, we are going to talk about the latest events of the One Piece manga chapter 1059 and the spoilers of One Piece manga chapter 1060, mainly about Luffy's dream and the new marine and Im-sama's weapons. What are the Seraphim really? What is the real motivation behind Im-sama, and how is this all related to Luffy's dream? Is the end of the world near? Would this be Im-sama's and the world government's ultimate weapon to be used against the pirates? Would that show a certain despair on what the part of those who rule the world as the revelation about what happened in the Void Century gets closer and closer? And Sabo is dead? Well, that's what we're gonna talk about in today's video. But first of all, so if you want to be a pirate king like me and achieve eternal glory, go ahead and press the like button with all the power of your Akuma no Mi. And if you're new here, my dear sailor, already subscribe to the channel and don't forget to activate the notification bell so you don't miss any new video here from Anime Joy Boy. Okay? Then join this crew that will dominate the entire Grand Line and the new world. Now, without further ado, let's get to this epic video. And well, my dear pirate, while everyone thought that we would finally have some moments of peace after all the chaos that happened in the Wano arc, the truth is that things are not that simple, and probably this time of peace will last very little because, as we can see, the world government still has a lot of power to show us. Everything indicated that after Shanks made Admiral Greenbull retreat using his powerful Conqueror's Haki, it seems that the Navy and Imusama have something planned for all the pirates in the new world, something really dangerous and more powerful than the Pacifista. And these are the Seraphim. But besides them, we have another possible weapon of destruction that is being used by Im-sama to literally sweep the island and the kingdom of Lulusia. In other words, guys, if we imagine that the Pacifista and the Admirals were already a huge problem, now that Vegapunk has further improved his experiences creating the Seraphim, and Imusama has, apparently, powers to wipe any realm off the map if the government so chooses. Could this be one of the ancient weapons? Could this be the power of Uranus? Well, if Imusama is using the power of just one of the ancestral weapons, and that's what we saw in the manga, which was the destruction of the kingdom of Lulusia, where the world government thought Sabo was, well, that just goes to show the concern that Iceberg had if Pluton fell into the hands of the world government, and so Frankie had to burn the project. Although this does not guarantee that the weapon has not already been built or is hidden somewhere. Soon, whether it's Uranus or not, we still don't know. But that just goes to show what I've been emphasizing in all the videos. Many people believe that now Luffy has defeated Kaido and Big Mom and he is now practically invincible, and that not even the Marines and the world government has the power to defeat him. Well, that's more proof that this is not true. And coming back to Im-sama, I would like to remind you that in a past video, I mentioned that I would be making a video detailing the possible power of this enigmatic being and how this power could have to do with the control not only of one of the ancestral weapons, but also the control of the sea of the world of One Piece. So if you want this detailed video, let me know in the comments about your opinion about it, alright? Now, about Luffy's dream. Apparently, the dream of our dear Straw Hat is what we've been talking about for a while. Freedom. Sure, after the Wano arc, that made it clear that Luffy is practically Joy Boy's will or reincarnation, let's say so. It was no wonder that Luffy increasingly followed this path, the path of full freedom. This is a basic characteristic that Oda put in the character. He himself doesn't think before speaking or acting. He doesn't mince words or acts to address anyone, be it an enemy or a friend. We saw this in the course of One Piece where he even beats Vivi to get her to accept his help. Seeing this nowadays, that would be a disgusting act, but that's how Luffy acts. He doesn't think, he's free. And yes, freedom has its consequences, which is why Im-sama and the world government want to act against him and against anyone who raises that flag. For Luffy, it is better for people to make mistakes, smile, suffer, and even cry. But all this has to come from their own actions, not by the force of governments and powerful people who want to control them. We don't know what the past was like. Maybe all this freedom has brought some chaos, and that's why people, who today are the ones who control the world, may have used this as an excuse to start controlling the people. But still, nothing justifies taking away the freedom of someone unless they actually commit some crime, and because the world government wants so much to hide the past. Maybe they really took advantage of some problem to control the people. This certainly conflicts with what Luffy believes. Just look at what happened on his journey, especially in Wano, where hunger was reigning. And now that Kaido and Big Mom, whether they like it or not, brought a balance in contrast to the world government and the Navy are no longer in the game, now the world government will start to act with all their strength to stop the pirates, especially the Luffy who awakened Nika. In other words, my dear sailors, it's from now on that things are going to get completely insane. And as we've seen, even Blackbeard was terrified of this world government power when he came across one of Vegapunk's new pacifistas, the Seraphim. Only one of them, who was apparently created with Mihawk's DNA, was able to rip the Amazon Lily Mountain in half. And according to Boa Hancock herself, apparently, the idea is to replace the Shishibukai with these new weapons based on their powers. After all, we saw that there is a Seraphim with the appearance of Hancock. Now the best part comes now. For if the world government supposedly had the DNA of the Shishibukai to create these Seraphim, what else can't be created by them with Vegapunk? Crowd, can you imagine how powerful Seraphim can be under the rule of the world government? It's really insane if we analyze all the possibilities. Many can say that this has happened in the past because Kuma, who was also a Shishibukai, was used to create the pacifistas and apparently they were very strong, but after 2 years of the time skip, their powers were overcome too easily. But now things are completely different because if it was really possible to create creatures from the DNA of the Shishibukai, imagine if Seraphim appear with the powers of admirals like Aokiji, Kizaru, Garp and even Sengoku. Or worse, imagine the power these clones would have based on Roger's, Whitebeard's and even Ace's DNA. After all, the DNA of these three would not be difficult to obtain. They were all for some time in contact or under the possession of the world government. That is, my dear sailor, can you imagine how powerful the Seraphim of this trio would be? I believe that Oda will not do that, as he caused the Shichibukai to lose their posts, and we have to take into account the power level of the world as a whole. Bringing these three back to life, Whitebeard, Roger and Ace, would bring a very large imbalance that would complicate the level of powers from now on within the world. Although Oda gave Luffy a cartoon-like power, I would venture to say that he wouldn't be that crazy. Or would he do something like that? After all, about the Seraphim, there are still a few more things we have to say about them, which is the flame on their back and their wings. This brings good memories for us fans, but also brings even more dangers for those who face these little pacifistas. His flames on his back most likely have some correlation with the Lunarians, the already extinct people of which King is the last survivor. If this is confirmed, we have another huge power upgrade given to the Seraphim. But it doesn't end there, because the memories I mentioned earlier may have to do with the moon and probably with the people who were there, as well as the people of Skypiea and maybe even with Enel. For if we look at the black wings of the Seraphim, we soon remember the wings of King. But if we put all the pieces of this puzzle together, we arrive at the people of the moon. Those mechatronic beings that Enel revived using his lightning showed the god of lightning some scriptures of a people with wings, a clear reference to Skypiea, or perhaps the people who descended to Earth and settled on that island in the past. Soon, the possibility of the world government having the DNA of these people and these people having some relationship with King in some way could be revealed with Enel's return. And that would reveal to us more of the past, more about the people like the Lunarians who also have wings like in those scriptures. What I mean here, folks, is that if one day Enel really does come back, he could be the key to revealing the past of King's people, and who knows, be the key to defeating the Seraphim. This is all too similar to be just coincidence, and we have to remember that recently Oda drew Enel's symbol on one of his latest SPSs, which could say that the god of thunder would finally be returning from the sky. In other words, my dear sailor, everything could be linked, and the people of Skypiea, who are probably related or even ancestors of King, may have been used in the creation of the Seraphim as well. Of course, if Enel has anything to do with all this, that big explosion could have something to do with him. That is, maybe Enel is Uranus after all, and that would be a great plot twist. Now let's move on to Sabo. After waiting so long for his return, is he really dead? Or was the destruction of Lulusia and the possible death of Sabo and the revolutionaries just a strategy to outwit the world government? Did Sabo really die? After all, he's the one who was getting closer and closer to Imsama and the world government, so Imsama wanting to destroy him makes a lot of sense. In other words, Sabo must have discovered something very important. Now the question that doesn't want to be silent is, what happened in the past for the world government to fear the new generation so much? That was the question Shanks asked Admiral Greenbull when he drove him away from Wano using his mighty Haki. Can the freedom Luffy seeks destroy the world again like it was in the past? Or is it the lack of freedom that ended the world and the government doesn't want the truth to be revealed? Would the Seraphim be the ultimate weapon to defeat the pirates to prevent the end of the world with the truth being revealed? And of course, will the new Seraphim appear? Roger, Whitebeard, or even Ace's Seraphim? But now I want to know what you think, so leave it in the comments. But of course, if you made it this far, it's because you like the content, so it doesn't hurt to subscribe to our channel and become one more member of our fleet, my dear sailor. And of course, do not forget to press the like button, that helps a lot in spreading the video and the channel. So help us to become the largest fleet of pirates here on YouTube, alright? A big hug for everyone, and until the next video,